Bhadrakalyai namo nityam Saraswatyai namo namaha Vedha Vedanga Vedanta Vidyastanebhya evacha Sarve Swarupe Sarveshe Sarve Shakti Samanvite Vayebhyastrahino Devi Durge Devi Namostute. Hari Om. Jai Mata Di, Jai Siya Ram, and welcome to Hinduism in Focus. We are, as we all know, we are going to commence the grand observance of Navaraatri tomorrow, the 19th of March, and we have started on Monday to discourse on Navaraatri, and as we always do, we try to find the finer, sometimes the more significant, and sometimes the most overlooked aspects and elements of our tradition and our heritage. And also we try to bring in a very pragmatic way to show the glory of our traditions, the glory of this heritage. And it is not ordinary, it is not ritualistic, it is not meant to go through in a dry way. In fact, it is meant to lift each of us out of any state of downtroddenness into our true state of glory, of power, of spiritual rejuvenation. And when every humankind is lifted to that state, the world itself returns to its glory of spirituality, its glory of divine power being seen and manifested amongst all. It returns to the state of perfection. But for the world to return to a state of perfection, it means that those who make up the world must first find their perfection. That is why the Hindu sages always focus on the individual. If whatever the individual is, that is what the world will be. That is it. So you have to work on the individual, because who makes up the world? Individuals, collectively. So Navaraatri is this time when we always try to find the deeper meaning of what this tradition, this Sanatani culture really offers to us, really brings to us. Yesterday we stopped off at a point where we were showing that though we are worshipping and we are engaged in satsang, we are observing this Navaraatri for the coming of Lord Sri Rama, which is Ram Navami, in which Navaraatri ends, that the presence of and the manifestation of the divine Shakti, the Mother, is what has for all the time defined the period. Not so much as it has defined the second Navaraatri, but what I was showing you is that how they all have an underlying meaning, an underlying impact, relevance to you and I, the sadhaka. How? Because for us to rejuvenate and renew ourselves in the spirit of the Lord, which is what Ram Navami is about. The Navaraatri is Vasant. The spring is indicative. It's a good point to start the spring, to show how one has to renew. And we show that the power of dynamism, Kriya Shakti, is the energy or the power within us to rid ourselves of the lower tendency and lift ourselves into the high spirit that is Ramachandra. And Durga is the Kriya Shakti. It is a power latent in every single person, beyond the confines of name, beyond the confines of race, beyond the confines of gender, beyond the confines of any form of identification. Every human being has within a power that is meant to lift them up from any state of downtroddenness, from any state of negativity, as it were, from any state of suffering from within. There is a power that the human has. The counselors, the psychologists, all people who are in part of the wellness industry, in the modern context, whatever name we refer to them as, right? What they do, they don't bring upliftment to the people, they aid them, they help the people who are downtrodden to find themselves, to find their strength, to find the positive part of their lives, to find the solution to something that is happening inside when there's an issue, isn't it? That thing that they're helping people to find is what the saints have already known and given to the world since whenever it has existed. That thing the Hindu rishis have given, and that thing is what we call the kindling, the discovery of the Kriya Shakti in the human heart. That Kriya Shakti is meant to slaughter, pop, anything destructive from within. No, nobody has to define what is destructive from within. It is so well known to everyone. Everybody knows what exactly is bothering them. But are they willing to remove that thing? That is the question. Navaraatri, through Kriya Shakti, outwardly manifests a Sheravali, the mother who rides a tiger. She is Dasabhuja, 10 armed. She has weapons in each hand. The Veda says, rich in her youth, rich in her red. She manifests her 10 arms, having control over the 10 directions of the cosmos, like this. That outward manifestation of Durga is meant to connect the human mind to an energy that is present in him that he cannot see. He has to see something first to create the link, to create the focus. Unless he is an evolved human whose mind has evolved, the realized saint, that he doesn't need the aid of the image of the Murti, then fine. But the ordinary who are going through the suffering, he needs the atmosphere, he needs the ambience, he needs the facility to get him there. It is like this. If you are a coach, you're a swimming coach, you don't need a floater or a life jacket to get you over from one end of a lake or one end of a swimming pool to the other. No. You can just do it. Because you have passed that stage, you've evolved, you've already went through that process. You're the trainer now, you're the coach. But tell me, the students that have now come, which is the majority, because there's one coach but 25 kids, 25 students. So in the world, the majority is still at that level. Please follow. So those students cannot be allowed to go in this pool and swim from one end. They will drown, they will lose. They will not achieve the goal, which is to reach on the other side. So they need the help. But after some time, when the course is finished, they have done their practice, they have attained certain goals, certain level of proficiency and so on in this field, they now will no longer need that aid of the life jacket or the floater. In the same way, the saints who have passed the stage, who have already conquered themselves from within, they do not need Mother Durga's manifested Murti, but you and I need that to connect, because we are neophytes. We are now traveling this road. We want to find and to bring forth the power of dynamism, Kriya Shakti in us. So Mother Durga's altar is set up. Her beautiful Murti is placed. Aarti is done. Flowers are decorating her. Mala is given, prayers, stutis, mantras, ashtakams, they're chanted, her glories are read of. Why? It is so amazing. It creates now the environment that this sadhaka now starts to think, oh mother, I want to remove this particular thought. I want to remove this particular vice that is hampering my career, that is hampering my spiritual life, my family's life. Oh, I want to find. So from outwardly now, the worship of Durga in her beaming, in light, in her face shining, that image now creates a what we call an upsurge of energy from within that tells you, oh my, I have done wrong, I must be able to build myself and get this thing done. The psychologists, the counselors now, that is the aim, to get this person who has fallen to rise up back from within. Vasant-Chaitra-Raam, Durga's worship, her pandal, her altar is set up for that purpose. It is not set up for any other purpose. It is to lift the human being from a state of downtroddenness, like Arjuna's case in Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna told Arjuna, he says, you are a man, you're a man of strength. You're a man who should not grieve for these things. You're a man of supposed to be a man of shreyas, of the good, but you have been lost in the pleasant things of the life. Rise up, O hero, and conquer yourself, like this, Krishna told Arjuna. Krishna first had to work with Arjuna as a universal counselor to get him strong from within. He is fallen from within, but he had a body of strength that everyone feared. But that physical strength means nothing if the inside is weak. That is the human state. Krishna had to pound Arjuna through his teachings to rise up in your glory and power, and he delivered a Bhagavad Gita. And once Arjuna rose, what happened? The rest is history. The human being has to get that push start. It's like the spark plug. The plug has to spark from within, and that human being strive to conquer himself. That power which pushes that human being, which no human can put in him, only could help him to find that power, is what this Navaraatri that generally was set up to do. That is what Durga Puja was set up to do. That is what everything that is done was set up to do. The outward manifestation is to bring forth the inward upsurge of power. That power to conquer the lower self. It is called Kriya Shakti. It is what the nature itself manifests as Vasant. What begins Chaitra, the Navaraatri, and what leads us and prepares us for the goal of Ram's appearance, called Ram Navami. This is how the Navaraatri is set up, and it's an amazing setup. So this is called Kriya Shakti. Tomorrow when we meet, we will continue from here, and we will look at another form of the Shakti, which is all aiding the process for finding and welcoming Lord Ramachandra in our hearts. Until we meet, may grace of Divine Mother and Bhagwan Sri Rama be with all of us. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Mata Di.